They've been exposed. That being Any Color Incorporated's Nijisanji. That as an unsigned talent contract was reviewed live on stream by Legal Mindset. And then later separately, Sayu Synchronicity offering up a separate document, that being known as a silencing contract, also left unsigned and further reviewed by Legal Mindset. As now today on TBS, we are about to present to you nearly 50 different clips of this contract breakdown. A contract now so disputed that in legal's estimation, it would be seen as violating U.S. labor law and therefore invalid. Once again, these are unsigned documents and therefore not subject to non-disclosure agreement, as firstly we dive into the title of the contract and whether it could be seen as an employee contract.
Is that this is indeed an unsigned, effectively blank agreement. So because it is unsigned and because it is blank or relatively blank in certain areas, right? It's not executed. It's not something that's executed by both parties. I haven't seen both parties sign this document. So could it change? Absolutely, right? Any document that is not signed, that is not executed, that is not sealed and verified, right, is something that, well, could have changed, right? So there could have been negotiation. There could have been things that changed. There could have been, differences between this version and the final version. This is pretty much the raw, uncut version. That said, based on the source of the information and also the way it reads, which we're going to get into, I very much believe this is pretty accurate. And by the way, that's the Nijisanji defense, because the Nijisanji defense squad, I'll just give them their argument, right? So like, I'm going to give the Nijisanji Any Color defenders your best argument, which to debunk all of this. They can just say this. They can say, well, it's not signed. So, it's not the signed version. That's their defense. That's their best defense. Their number one defense. We've got the contracts. Dun, dun, dun. Here we go, guys. All right. So one of the first things we will start with is just the title. So one thing that I have people constantly saying here is VTubers are not employees. VTubers are independent contractors. VTubers are doing XYZ. One of the biggest things that you can look at in this analysis is not just what they call it, because you can call an agreement anything. I can call it the zippity doo dah express agreement. But if it is about employment, it is an employment contract. And you don't look at just the title. You look at what does the agreement do? What is the function of the agreement? Is it making a person, another human, doing employment type things? So this is the analysis as we look through this entire agreement. Is this something that looks like an independent contractor, somebody that might be working of their own volition, independently, doing a project, setting their own schedule, doing their own training, controlling when and where and how they do things? Or is this an employee, which is more of someone's bitch? So when we look at this, a lot of the NDF, a lot of the folks that are defending Nijisanji say, well, they're all contractors, right? Well, we're going to look through this and say, are they indeed contractors? First of all, do they use the language contractor, right? Do they have a specific provision talking about being independent contractors? Is that in there? Is it not in there? Even if they do have that in there, that doesn't save them. We'll look at, hey, how are they controlling these people? What are they getting? What are they telling them to do? So this is the first thing that jumped out at me immediately was the title, because I don't think this is an accurate title as to what this is. And as we'll see, there's other details here, but it could be very, very much just entitled employment agreement.
Early on, legal noticing that this is very likely a Japanese to English contract, which does not invalidate this analysis, as this is not an instance of finding a Japanese document and then translating it. No, this is the agency themselves presenting this as an English document to English talents, which can create issues within.
All right. So this is an agreement regarding Party B's live streaming activities, including uploading a video. Now, already you can see the Japanese side here. So look at this language, uploading a video, like a video, a singular video. That grammar there indicates to me that the person that was writing this may have been written by somebody in Japanese and translated over to English.
Legal then going on to notice an issue with definitions, an incredibly important part of any legal documentation.
The interpretation of the definitions in the agreement that are not set forth herein shall be in accordance with the civil code, which do they define civil code? Let's see. They don't define civil code. Oh my God. This is stupid. This is dumb. All right. So this is really dumb. This is a legal fuck up. They don't say which civil code, right? Which civil code? I'm assuming they mean Japanese civil code. I'm assuming they mean Japanese civil code. I'm assuming they mean Japanese copyright law, but they didn't specify that and they didn't create a definition for that, which is dumb and a little bit careless on their part.
Further, we would have a definition of the VTuber character.
Character means the character separately designated, so it's not even talked about here, which actually is a huge risk for Nijisanji, because Nijisanji, let me put it this way, Nijisanji not mentioning what the character is, who the character is, whatever, that's actually a problem. Because they should put that in there to make it very, very clear that, hey, this is for X character, but they don't do that, right? That actually is a little bit of a risk. They should put that in there. That's actually sloppy, and it's actually lazy, to be honest.
Next, the subject of training is brought up, potentially bringing up the Virtual Talent Academy, an effort created under any color that does facilitate new Japanese talents to the Japanese Nijisanji branch, but still not implemented at this time to the English branch.
VTuber training program. This is huge. This, guys, is massive. Why is this massive? Whenever you put somebody through a training program and you control their training, training is a key element of making somebody an employee. When you are training them, when you are holding a training, and it says right here that the main party is conducting the training to instruct the VTuber on the standards and precautions to be observed in conducting VTuber activities. Training is going to look like an employee. That is a massive one.
Next up, we have the subject of confidentiality and why most of this goes immediately out the window.
If there is something that is wrong, for example, if there's employee harassment, if there's a labor dispute, if there's perhaps discrimination based on age, race, sex, disability, all that confidentiality is going to go right out the window. In America. I don't know about Japan. I'm not a Japanese lawyer. Full disclosure, not a Japanese lawyer. But all this confidentiality stuff, in the case of a labor dispute, in the case of a party which is saying, I am under unfair working conditions, that's all going to go out. You cannot hide behind, oh, well, it's all confidential, so therefore we can't. Nope. In a labor dispute, that's not going to happen.
Very quickly, we also have an indication that the terms do not involve past live accounts.
In the name of the character. So this does not include, very good point, does not include their PL stuff. Very good point.
Next up on the subject of exclusivity, and again, why much of this contract could be thrown out.
So here's why this is important. Number one, this is probably the most bulletproof reason why this is an employee. An employee is exclusive. An employee cannot work anywhere else. A contractor can work wherever the fuck they want to work, right? But this is not what we see here. What we see here is they are an exclusive VTuber. That looks like ding, 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 an employee. Once again, this pulls us under labor law. So there are some places where this agreement would be completely thrown out because they did not get approval for this agreement under the local labor law or local labor rules in America. And they have to follow the instruction of Party A. So they're under the control. They shall not perform these without prior approval. So they can't even do what they want to do. This purpose, the purpose Article 2 combined with Article 1 just makes them 100% employee. There's no pretending anymore.
Further, we have a section involving the agency potentially dictating where the talent is to live and work.
Party B shall implement the VTuber activities at a place designated by Party A. What? Guys. They shall implement the activities at a place designated by Party A. They can literally tell them where they have to live because most VTubers do it from their home. Once again, this is a massive sign, not just an employee. This is almost slave-like. So they can say, oh, we don't like you working there. You need to come to Tokyo now.
Written into this unsigned contract, we also have a $1,300 amount that to be potentially given to the talent, or as we will now call them, the employee, for new equipment.
Next, exclusive fee, right? In the event that Party A determines that it's necessary for Party B to purchase new equipment for performing the distribution of contents, and Party B purchases the equipment designated by Party A, Party B may charge Party A for an amount of equipment equivalent to the cost of the purchase up to 200,000 yen. So this is essentially saying that you're getting paid this amount for equipment only if you're in their good graces. 200,000 yen is $1,300. Okay? $1,333 right now. That's fucking nothing, right? So this is not included in the contract. So they're trying to add in a separate contract. So there'd be a separate one for the royalty. Performance fee for live and concerts, separate upon agreement. Performance fee for movies, separate. Merchandising, separate. Guys, here's your 2%. Here's your 2%, guys. So merchandising is not in here. The 2% is not in here, guys. I know you guys were looking at the 2%, but it's not in here. So technically that is separate.
Next, we have issues with a reimbursement clause.
Party B shall issue and send them an invoice stating the total amount of the cost by the third business day of the month following which the actual... Wait a second. Nijisanji is not advancing them the money. They're reimbursing them. So they have to pay out of pocket for the ticket. Hold up. And then they've got to submit the invoice. And then they're going to get paid the month following. You've got to, it's a time-limited reimbursement. Thank you, professional gentlemen. Thank you. That's a good way to frame it. Time-limited reimbursement. I don't know how many of you guys have flown to Asia. It's not cheap. Coming into Tokyo from, let's say, Canada, the US, Mexico, somewhere else in North America, that's not cheap. So we're looking at like $2,000. You're just going to pay? Right? Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. There's $2,000. I'm just gonna. Not just that, but that's the ticket. That's the plane ticket, and then the hotel in Tokyo.
And further on, we have violations regarding subcontracting. This being an ongoing issue that many are discussing regarding Nijisanji English's Luca Kaneshiro and allegations made against this employee.
Party B shall not subcontract all or part of the VTuber activities to a third party or jointly with a third party except with prior consent, meaning nobody can get behind the character. You can't subcontract any part of it. If they subcontract, Party B shall impose on third party the same obligations under the agreement and shall be jointly and severally liable. What this means is if that other party fucks up, you are on the line. Joint and several liability.
Next, we have a very mysterious section involving Nijisanji asking for information from the employee, but not defining what that information is.
Shall provide it with certain information requested by Party A. What is certain information? This to me is like, wait, what? What is certain information? An event set forth in paragraph 1, if requested by Party A, Party B shall submit to Party A materials to prove the information. What the fuck are you talking about? This to me as a term here, trying to define the information. What information? What is certain information? Is this just they have to tell you everything? When they request information to you, you have to tell them whatever, whenever? Well, obviously this is unenforceable, because what if it's confidential? What if it's private information? What is the information that they can't disclose because they have another confidentiality agreement or another NDA? This doesn't make any sense. This is probably unenforceable in America because it's too vague. And look, the information could be very simple stuff, but they didn't do it. They didn't put that in there. And this is sloppy as hell from a legal standpoint. It's just sloppy.
And now in the next section, we have a area in which Nijisanji may not offer compensation for paid by employee works.
In the preceding paragraph, if rights arise to Party B and are reserved to Party B due to an agreement for some of the reasons, Party A may freely use such rights without paying compensation. So meaning, if somebody paid an artist to do something, so let's say that when Selentatsky, right, Doki, right, the pilot behind Doki, paid an artist $100,000 or something. Let's say she paid $100,000. They can use it without compensation. They don't have to repay her for it. They can use it as much as they want. They don't have to pay her shit. That's what that says. So you can pay an artist. They cannot reimburse you. They cannot reimburse you, and they can use all of it. They can use every single thing.
Nijisanji, infamously known not to offer any kind of silver or gold play buttons to any of their employees, which is covered in a contract.
A review says Party A shall have an exclusive right to demand and receive from third parties any and all consideration from VTubing activities of the second party. Wait, what? Party A, any color, shall have the exclusive right to demand and receive from third parties any consideration arising from the VTuber activities. So what this means is that Nijisanji can demand money from any third party. And also, people mentioned in the chat the play button. They can keep the play button on this. This is definitely the play button. So the play button can definitely be received. That's something received from third parties, any consideration. So yeah, they can keep and receive the play button. So this is the play button here for sure.
And now we have the prohibited activities.
Okay, let's go down. I'm going to speed run these because there's a lot here. Okay, so these are all things they can't do. Criminal acts or violations of public order and morality. Once again, this is super Japanese, guys. Things that are obscene or harmful to youth. CP, anything involving, I'm not going to read this, but you see it right here. Can't do any of that. No drinking, drug use, none of that. No bullying, no bullying, no bullying, no bullying. Well, interesting. No discriminatory remarks or hate speech. Yuki, hello.
And to be clear, that is legal, not referencing Yuki, but Uki Violetta, another employee of Nijisanji English, recently under fire for resurfaced comments made on streams and an even more recent tweet regarding a particular racial group. As now we have a very important part of this unsigned contract, which could potentially violate labor law.
And they can terminate you at any time in its discretion. This, by the way, this provision, this right here, this provision likely violates labor law. Here's why, especially in America, and other places, right? Especially even apparently in Japan, there's a 30-day notice provision. If somebody is an employee, you can't just, like in Japan and a lot of places, some states, places like California, they may have some sort of notice period or whatever else, there may be some requirements to pause on that, right? But they're saying they can terminate at any time, which is very interesting.
Within this unsigned contract, it is mentioned that there is a 50% cut expected from streaming activities, but that could go even higher in favor of Nijisanji, as if there are violations, Nijisanji could take a 75% cut, or even potentially later a 100% cut. This potentially meaning that when Nijisanji English's Selene Tatsuki had her Last Cup of Coffee music video privated, she could have been potentially looking at Nijisanji, then taking a 100% cut of her proceeds for an indeterminate amount of time.
So hold on. Penalty. In the event that party B fails under the following items, party A may demand from party B a penalty equal to 50% of the consideration. So they're going to take, okay, you make 50%, right? You make 50%. So they're going to take another 50%. So you're only going to get 25% if you breach any of those other provisions. And if you terminate the agreement, due to any reason attributable to you, they're taking 50%. You're only getting 25%. And then beyond that, party A, any color, can demand a penalty from you up to the higher number, ladies and gentlemen, the higher number. Above and beyond them taking half of what they owe you, they can demand the amount equal to the total amount of consideration. So they can take it all.
Further here, we have a non-compete clause ordered for 6 months, meaning that at Nijisanji's discretion, that livers cannot join another agency until 6 months have passed after their termination.
During a period of 6 months after. So for 6 months after, you cannot distribute anything. Wait. As a VTuber for a third party. Wait, what? Is this a non-compete? This is like a mini non-compete here. Wait, what? This is a weird non-compete to tuck in there. And to try to say that they're going to come and hit you by taking all of your money, by assessing a penalty equal to the total amount, all of your money, that's extreme.
The next section of this unsigned contract effectively says there is no guarantee to the employee that they will be making money.
Party A makes no warranty to party B that B will earn a certain amount of profit, meaning there's no guarantee you're going to make any money. Guys, there's zero guarantee you're going to make any money. No guarantee that what they're going to do for you fits the particular purpose, commercial usefulness, completeness, or continuity. So they don't have any warranties or guarantees for you essentially as a streamer. They don't warrant anything.
And now within the next section, the employee of Nijisanji is made wholly responsible if they receive a copyright strike on their channel.
Party B shall investigate at its own expense whether it can conduct its activities. And so you are responsible for understanding, all of the laws and regulations, the rules of industry. If there's a dispute between the platform and them, party A is not liable. This is huge. You know what this means? Bro, guys, you know what this means? Provision 4 means that if there is a copyright strike, they are not going to help you with the copyright strike. They have no legal responsibility. Legally, they don't have to. Now, they may actually do it in reality because they want the money, right? So in reality, they may do it, but they have no legal obligation to help you. In connection with the VTuber shall be handled and resolved at the responsibility of party A or party B. Party A is not responsible. So any disputes between the artist and the vendors, right? Any scams, right? Shout out to Bao the Whale. I feel really bad that Bao got scammed, right? So if you have a dispute, if you get scammed, that is on you. That's on you.
And now within the next section, it elaborates on disputes between VTubers.
In the case of the preceding paragraph, so if you have a dispute with another one, you shall handle the dispute at your own cost? No. Guys, no. No. So wait a second. They're saying if you are fighting with another Nijisanji VTuber, they're not going to mitigate that? They're not responsible for you fight. So if Vox and Alira are fighting each other, they're like Jedi power battling each other, right? that the company is not going to get involved and that you have to pay for that?
At this time, Legal Mindset stating that the contractor argument is dead and that this is an employee contract.
I don't care what law this is under. The contractor argument is so fucking dead. The contractor argument is dead. This is not, there's no contractor in the world that looks like that. This is ridiculous. Okay. Like this, to even try to say this is a contractor at this point with the level of control they have, right? We're talking about like fate servant level control. You know, this is, this is definitely an employee.
And now within the next section of this contract, Nijisanji states that they can terminate for any reason, including for the reason of betrayal.
So this is termination, reasons they can be terminated, right? So party A, so Nijisanji, right? Without any notice, they do not need any notice whatsoever, right? Without. So they need no notice. They can terminate it for any of these reasons. Any of these reasons. Yeah, okay. If there is an act of betrayal, or an act against the public order and morals, and party A determines it's unreasonable to continue. An act of betrayal. That's so Japanese. That's so Japanese.
Next, we have one of the most surprising sections of this unsigned contract, those being the amendments. And even wilder, what can set them off?
Okay. This one is freaking crazy. Hold on to your butts, guys. This is nuts. Listen up to this. Listen up to this. Okay. In the event that party A, any color, amends this agreement, party A shall notify party B. So they have to notify them in writing of the details of the amendments, right? Listen to this. If party B does not object within 14 days of the notice, of the written notice, they are deemed to have agreed. They automatically accept. So let's say they wrote them a letter and they were on vacation for a month and they come back and they were like, oh, I just got this, right? I'm just reading this. Or here's an email and they missed the email, right? And they just deleted the email. They automatically accept it. This is extreme bullshit. This is extreme bullshit. This is very questionable. And this type of provision, look, there are times when an automatic acceptance, like an amendment, is acceptable. This is not one of them. In an employment context, this type of amendment is in America. This is like the judge is throwing this shit out. They're wiping their ass with that one. They could even change from what this says. They could even say, oh yeah, we're changing it so you now only make 2% of super chat revenue, right? And if you don't object, then it's counted as there. If you're in the hospital, yeah, even if you're in the hospital, it doesn't have a carve out. I didn't even get to this next line. I was so stunned. So holy shit. If you start streaming, you're deemed to have accepted terms they sent to you. So if they send you something right before you stream and then you start streaming, you're deemed as accepting that bullshit. Look, in America, that's illegal. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it straight up. That's illegal. This is not America. This is not working for proper notice. This is ridiculous. No, sorry. No. I'd like to see how much the contract is left if you take out all the parts that are illegal under US law. The title is left. The title is left. And even the title is suspect.
In the next section, Nijisanji clearly states that they are not a part of organized crime.
All right. Exclusion of antisocial forces. Now, this is super Japanese, and this is something we don't have in English. So calling stuff antisocial forces. So each party represents or warrants that is currently not an organized crime group. So Nijisanji is any color is warranting it is not an organized crime group. Are you sure? Are you sure? Because after this contract, I'm not confident anymore.
And now in one of the most stunning sections, an article that attempts to keep the majority of the actual contract in place even after termination.
All right. Surviving provisions. So this is fucking crazy. And this is totally not enforceable. This document, so survival is the concept that certain things are going to last beyond the life of the contract. It's pretty much every single provision. The entire fucking contract? No, not in America. Maybe in Japan. I don't know about Japan. That's just not happening. That's ridiculous. Like, so the contract is gone, but we're still under contract. The entire no. 2 or 3 provisions, maybe.
Legal Mindset now laying out how this could be seen as a labor dispute, which means that any court case would stay within the country of the employee's work and residence.
And the Tokyo District Court shall have the exclusive jurisdiction when it comes to this dispute. Typically, with a breach of contract, typically, yes, with breach of contract, you go to the venue that is stipulated in the contract. Typically, yes, with breach of contract. The real problem is, hashtag I'm not a Japanese lawyer, but I'm talking about international law, right? When you're dealing with international contracts, which I have dealt with international contracts between the US and other countries. And it is very true that typically you go to that. However, full stop. That's with breach of contract. When you go to labor disputes, and this is clearly an employment agreement and a labor agreement, you typically will go to the venue in which the person is conducting the work. The work is being conducted not in Tokyo, not in Japan. So regarding a labor dispute, the labor dispute would be outside of Japan, despite what this says. But the labor dispute for an employee would be in the worker's jurisdiction, not the company's. And any good lawyer would argue that.
Very quickly now, we do have a revelation of a 2-year contractual term.
The effective term of the agreement shall be for 2 years, right? From the date of execution of this agreement. However, unless either party gives notice of the rejection of renewal 3 months before the expiration of the then current term, the agreement shall automatically be renewed, right? Party A may terminate the agreement by notifying party B at least 3 months in advance. So party A can terminate with 3 months notice. So yeah, you're supposed to have 3 months notice here. You're supposed to have 3 months notice here.
Legal Mindset at this time stating they will not litigate.
This is what happens. It's too costly for them to litigate. They're not going to litigate. So you just go your separate ways. The only reason why they would come after you is if it is such a big, if it is so big and so profitable and so great for them to come after you. But frankly, they don't have much incentive. What's the incentive?
And now further, in an even bigger surprise, we have Sayu Synchronicity forwarding over documents to Legal Mindset, offering up not only snapshots of correspondences that not only confirm the 3-hour timing that she was given to sign a silencing contract, but is now seen she was originally only given 1 hour.
This is from Yasuhiro, right? Who says, "Hi, Zion Lanza. Thank you for your time today. Please find attached for your reference if you need an English version of the document we have previously sent to you via email. As mentioned during today's call, we would like you to check it, sign it, and send it back to us by 4 p.m. JST, March 10th, in about an hour. Thank you for your consideration." They fucking self-report. This is ridiculous. This is the definition of duress, and this would totally be thrown out in an American court. Not only because they didn't get the approval of the labor board, but because they want it back in a goddamn hour. That's ridiculous.
Sayu going on to respond.
But look at her response here, which is absolutely smart and great. Look at how smart she is. This is great. Like, from her, it's fantastic. She's so smart. Zion says, hi, Yasuhiro. Upon reading this, it sounds basically like the company is saying they will list out your chosen facts, which are still defamation to me, in a reasonable discretion on Twitter. However, in Article 4, it appears that this document prevents me from explaining the context under which the chosen facts occurred, since they may be claimed by your side as words or actions that undermine the social credibility of A. Aside from this, I do need time to read over this and discuss what it means in a fully in a legal sense, meaning she needs to talk to her lawyer. You don't talk to a lawyer in 1 hour. Lawyers are not McDonald's. You don't order them in 30 minutes or less. So as asking me to sign this within 1 hour is too soon, as I do have other commitments to attend to as well. Cannot be asked to simply operate this schedule so last minute. I require more time to properly address this. Very smart, very professional response. Once again, I am very, very, very impressed by her intelligence, right? And by her ability to respond so quickly. The fact that she responded like that, when I saw that, I'm like, wow, she is genuinely a really, really smart woman. So I was very, very, very impressed. So I just want to say that just off rip.
In a wild turn of events, it seems that Nijisanji still wanted to issue a bullet point termination notice, but also have their cake and eat it too, by stating that it would be a mutual termination agreement, which Sayu has confirmed that she did not sign. Once again, what we are seeing here is an unsigned silencing contract, and therefore not subject to non-disclosure agreements.
In this case, what they want to do is they want to dictate how it goes and what comes out. And they want to give the reasons why she's terminated. They wanted to say she was terminated for being these things, for doing all these bad things. They were still going to say that. They were never going to not say that. They were already going to put this out. They were already going to put out a termination notice on Twitter. This just is like, oh, we're now going to announce that it was mutual, I guess. But that doesn't change much at all. They're still going to essentially defame her. And that's what she said. That's why Sayu was like, what? No, she is not allowed to talk about the fact that she entered in that agreement, the content of discussions, the content provisions of the agreement, any related matters, so anything, or any information, even if, once again, if Vox gets caught, Vox and Alira get caught in a cocaine party in Medellin, complete hypothetical, right? Complete hypothetical. They can't do anything about it. She can't say anything about it. Even though it has nothing to do with this, she can't say anything about it. Are you kidding me? It's confidentiality, right? Of course, once again, this was not signed. This was not signed. So, Rut-Roast SpaghettiOs, maybe if you gave more than an hour, it would have been signed. The slanderous and defamatory acts stipulated in the preceding paragraph shall include any act with party B, which is the liver, which agrees with or encourages word or actions that undermine the social credibility of party A and virtual livers who belong to party A from third parties. Ladies and gentlemen, this means if she liked a fucking tweet, she would be slandering and defaming them. That you're considering it slander to like, pretty much to like a tweet, to encourage. What the fuck does encourage mean? What does that mean? Encourage. What is that? Or agree with? You agree with someone's opinion? Fuck you. But this is literally complete silence, complete choking you out. And not just that, but you've got to actually not say anything about any of their livers. Any of them.
Further, we have a question here that we've seen many times. What if anyone, such as Sayu or myself, were to go to Japan, which we have? Could we be served a court summons once we arrive?
Amazing. Assuming Sayu signed something similar to the first contract, can any color go after if she steps foot in Japan? Probably not. I mean, it would be hard for them to do that because remember, you have to serve somebody, and like trying to serve somebody who's a tourist is very, very hard. because they have no legal residence. So like service of process is going to be really difficult. Like it would be so expensive for Japan to even try, right? And it wouldn't be worth it, because I'll tell you what, if Japan tries to do shit on this, dude, if Nijisanji so much as gets a ball tickle, okay, I will be so up there. I mean, we will be covering this so closely. Okay, the PR loss, the PRL for them will be massive. And by the way, everyone will cover this. Everyone will cover this.
Next, we have another subject of the compensation of damages, entirely in the favor of Nijisanji.
In the event that either party violates any provision of this agreement, party A and B shall indemnify. Indemnify means you cover all of their expenses and any and all damages, including not only direct and ordinary damages, but lost profits, loss of business opportunities, business interruption, indirect damages. So they're trying to come for all of these damages that would never be upheld against them. So they're trying to scare them. They're trying to say, if we take a hit in business, we're coming for you. This is not enforced. This is ridiculous. Like trying to come for all these damages, right? Because, okay, you're an indemnifying. No, not going to happen. Not going to happen. Where is party A promising not to do that? You know what this should say? Article 4. If they wanted to make Article 4 fair, what they would have done is they would have said party A and party B. So party A and party B shall not talk bad about each other. If they were trying to be fair, they would have made this promise a mutual promise. It's not a mutual promise. It's a one-sided promise. This is a one-sided promise.
As lastly, we have the subject of a liquidation clause.
Mutually confirm there are no claims or obligations other than those set forth in the agreement between party A and party B with respect to the subject matter hereof, and confirm they will not make any claim, including a claim disputing the validity of the termination of this MOU. So saying that if you sign this, you cannot dispute it. So once you sign it, you cannot dispute it. You cannot issue a demand, file any lawsuit or other dispute resolution procedure, civil or criminal, against the other party. They want them to indemnify. They're not going to sue them for criminal violations, for civil violations, for labor violations, making demands, making lawsuits. Guess what? That isn't going to hold up. If something is illegal, it's illegal. You can wipe your ass with this liquidation clause in America. You can't violate the law and then put in a clause and say, hey, it's okay that if we do something criminal, if we are criminals, we can't be prosecuted. Not enforceable at all. This is ridiculous. This is preposterous. Saying that she cannot file a lawsuit? No. No.
Once again, that being Legal Mindset over the course of 2 streams, looking over 2 separate documents. That second document, the silencing contract, being confirmed to be from Sayu herself. As that is all for this episode. As always, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe below. Send in your VTuber news to our Discord, as we'll have more things VTubers say for you soon.